your job.
Put the gun down before you kill someone.
Teenage Girl's Diary.
Hello and welcome to another Dollar Store Drive-In. I'm your host, Laura.
I'm Joel.
And we're the Newly Deads.
Yes.
And we are coming at you with another episode where we watched a movie and now we're going to review it for you. Just a little bit of housekeeping notes. If this is your first time watching us, welcome. If this is something you're listening to, because we do turn this into a podcast, thank you for listening. This is a visual show, though, so you will hear us mentioning things that we're like looking at either on the screen. Mr. Newly Dead does a lot of edits, and so some of them are visual edits that you can't really see. So if you want to find our show after you've done listening to this, you can find us at thenewlydeads.com for all of your Newly Deads needs. So on that site, you can find all of our show information, where we are located. You can find out if we are part of any upcoming events. I know we're going to be doing the Witches Market again this year. It's not until October, but it's quite a while from now. Should I talk about our... Yeah? Okay. Let me finish the couple of the other things there. We also have a blog that we write. So I write about local or small businesses. It doesn't necessarily need to be in the Rockford area, but I feature a lot of artists and makers and all sorts of things. Mr. Newly Dead does movie reviews. We both do kind of coffee reviews. We also have a YouTube channel, so you can check out all the information on there. But what Mr. Newly Dead was getting all excited about was for our 100th episode, we are going to have a live screening of the movie that we're watching. The movie is Mega Shark versus Killer Octopus? No, what is it? Say it. Giant Octopus.
Trying to see if you'd remember.
Yeah, so I mean, at least I got the Mega Shark part right.
You did this, Mega Shark.
Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. There's a couple of people like Debbie Gibson's in it and
Lorenzo Lamas.
We're going to be watching that with at least 20 people at Wolf Hollow. And that is on February 9th from 3 until whenever the movie's over. It's free.
Doors open at 2:30.
Doors open at 2:30. If you would like to register and come watch with us, because we would love to have you there, you can do so at this link. So I'm sure you'll put our Facebook event link up there. Again, it is free of charge. We really appreciate the Wolves for opening their doors to us. They're the kindest humans on the planet. And so we do ask that if you're coming, maybe if you've got a couple bucks, you can donate to them. That way, maybe they'll do more things like this for people in the future. They always like to give back. So, yeah, that's going to be a good time, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to necessarily like be on camera. We are going to be doing like a little bit of recording, just kind of shots of people like in the audience kind of thing.
As they call it in the industry, B-roll footage.
B-roll footage, yes. We're going to do some B-roll footage. We're not recording the actual show at the, like this format at the Wolf Hollow, but we are going to be just screening the movie and just asking people to come celebrate with us. So please do so. We've already got like 3 people signed up, I think. So we still have like 17 more spots, something like that. Right?
Well, if you count us and the Wolves.
I mean, that's, yeah, I guess 7 people.
Anyway, the point is that you've got some time right now, but don't sit on it because you may miss your opportunity.
Yeah. And it's, who doesn't want to go to a matinee on a Sunday? I mean, that's always a fun thing.
Hang out with us.
Hang out with us.
Watch a cool movie.
Okay, I'm done plugging that now. But we are here to talk about a movie that we watched, and the movie that we watched, it has some criteria.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, the movies that we watch need to be under $5. They need to be a horror, thriller, or sci-fi genre movie, and it needs to be a movie that neither of us have ever seen. This happens to be a sequel, what we watched. So I decided to also watch the prequel, not the prequel, but the first one.
You've never seen it.
Not the
I've
prequel.
seen it several times.
Yes. the movie being Screamers. And so we watched Screamers The Hunting, which is the second movie in this duality.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to continue after, because
Yeah.
that was what, 2000 and
You're the one that
8.
knows. Oh yeah. So
and
I mean,
the
you
original
never
was
know.
1995, I think.
So every few years, people will make another Screamers, maybe. Okay. So, do you want me to read the synopsis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Shay, I gotta stop petting you.
So there's a few things here. You know, Screamers: The Hunting. If you've never seen Screamers, who's the guy that's in it?
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller. Yeah,
and
the guy
Jennifer
from
Rubin.
and Jennifer Rubin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are 2 main stars.
Yes. So I mean, it's worth a watch. It's the 1990s, you know, kind of CGI kind of stuff. So it's pretty cheesy, but it was decent, I guess.
I'm a fan.
Yes, he definitely liked it. So on the top of this, it says we thought they were extinct.
Oh no.
And it says, inspired by a short story by visionary author Philip K. Dick, Screamers: The Hunting is a mind-shattering sequel to the legendary sci-fi cult thriller. It's been 13 years since the robotic killing machines known as Screamers destroyed the human population of Sirius 6B, but now a distress signal brings a team of rescuers to the supposedly abandoned planet. Can it be a long-lost colony of human survivors, or have the Screamers evolved into something even more sinister? Half-man, half-machine hybrids that need to escape Sirius 6B to finish their mission, the complete annihilation of the human race. Yeah. There's a featurette on here, a behind-the-scenes thing. I watched that.
Didn't we not?
I don't think we did. I mean, you
No.
might have.
No,
on
I
your
don't think
own
we
time.
did actually.
So-
Now that I think about it, I did. We should have.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. And part of my New Year's resolution this year is to take more notes. So far, I am on track. I've taken notes for every movie that we've watched this year so far.
It's true, but they're all analog, so you might not get to see them like my notes, which from 2024 are currently available on our website, and a little flippy book that Mrs. Newly Dead created. So if you haven't
Yes.
check that out. Go over there.
You can
take
see
a look.
his 2024 notes
And completion.
and 2023 if you want to.
And 2023, if you've never seen them before.
All right. So we'll get on to the trailer, so that way you can take a watch and see what we were looking at. So that way you can get the feel of the movie.
Flavor.
And I think that the trailer this time is just a little alien ship just flying in. That should be easy for you. A little UFO.
Okay.
And it's coming from over there.
Okay.
I'm waving at it. Hopefully I wave back.
Hi.
I always expect it to wave back.
I don't know. All right. I'm going to pause it. We'll be right back.
Alliance Central has sent us as a rescue team to try to locate whoever sent that SOS and bring them back home to Earth.
Now, Screamers have been programmed to kill any living thing, and they will do just that.
Screamers. I thought they were all decommissioned.
Well, speculation is that the later models may have evolved. Welcome to Sirius 6B.
I need to speak to your people.
What do you want?
We were sent to investigate, render assistance to any survivors.
Hi.
There's something really wrong. They've gotten in! Danielle!
Here we go.
Wow.
We're back. I know you missed us.
Did you? Oh, that's nice. So for this half of the show, I've got notes that I take to give us a little guideline and a reminder, since sometimes you don't get to watch or discuss the movies the day after. So I'll, do a little synopsis, so to speak, and draw some pictures. And then Mrs. Newly Dead likes to see the pictures. And oh yeah, I forgot about that. So this is what I got this time.
Weow?
It's a screamer.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a screamer.
Diarrhea duck. Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
I forgot about Diarrhea Duck.
Oh,
Look at that, pretty
put it
hard
on my
about that.
bill.
Put it on my bill. Inside joke, sorry.
A robot? A robot.
Yep.
He's
And,
smoking.
and if you can't see it there, but I made the cigarette red because of the movie,
Oh,
because of the first movie, not the second one.
yeah.
The second one, they didn't really get into that.
Yeah.
But the first one, smoking was still okay. And so they had some smoking.
All right.
And then you took notes as well.
I did. And then I just drew,
You did. Yep. That's the kind of screamery guy.
yeah. And then a lily, because
A
I was
lily.
practicing on drawing
He was
lilies.
drawing lilies. Because in the first one, there was a screamer that looked kind of like that, but it was more of just like a big bitey face.
Mm.
And in the second one, they had the really scary bitey face, which is on the cover. So, no spoilers. All right, so Screamers The Hunting is from 2008, currently sitting at 4.7 out of 10 on the Internet Movie Database. This is directed by Sheldon Wilson, who is known for Mega Cyclone,
Nice.
not to be confused with the other movie, Snowmageddon, and Shark Killer. That's sad.
Shark killer.
Yeah.
We don't like killing sharks.
Yeah, ever since Jaws came out, everybody gives sharks a bad rap.
They're like teeth puppies.
I mean, anyway. We won't
Bite
get into that.
puppies.
But, so this was written by as she mentioned earlier, the original short story was written by Philip K. Dick, who wrote, I'm giving you the names of the movies that were based on his stories because the title of his stories are super long sometimes. And so I didn't want to get that in here. So Screamers, obviously, the first one, Blade Runner. Everybody who's a science fiction fan has probably seen Blade Runner, or a film nerd, and Total Recall, which Blade Runner's getting a second sequel now, and Total Recall's already been remade, and it's getting remade. Oh no, The Running Man's getting remade. That's Stephen King. Sorry, I wish I could remember the name. I think it's called Second Sight is the name of the short story. I'll put it up here. So this was turned into a screenplay or adapted for the screen for this movie, not the original, by Tom Barry, who did Mindfield, which is on the shelf, Decoys, and Decoys 2, Alien Seduction. Hey, there, green muscly face. So this was also written by Miguel Tejada Flores, which I did not catch my notes here that there was a second co-screenwriter who wrote or had his hand in Revenge of the Nerds. Yep, that one. Problematic comedy from the 80s. $1 Million Mystery, which was a stunt movie in the 80s that I remember seeing in the theater where you went to the movies and they gave you clues. And if you figured out the clues, you could win $1 million.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was the thing that happened. And I had to include their last one here, which is Frankenstein's Army, which, if you've never seen it, which I don't know if you've seen it, it's kind of a cult following, like a horror movie from mid 2000s, early 2000s, and it's growing in popularity over the years. I've seen it; it's disturbing at points, and it's good, but it's weird. Anyway, so this stars one Lance Hendrickson, and when I say star, I say that loosely, who was in a little movie called Aliens. Never heard of it. Pumpkinhead. That sounds like not like it's going to be a franchise or anything. One of my all-time favorite films, period, Dead Man. Not to be confused with Dead Man Walking. Dead Man, the Jim Jarmusch film, which I've talked about on here before. And if you follow my letterbox, you'll see it as one of my top films of all time. And he was the star of the X-Files spinoff show Millennium, which you've never seen Millennium. Why? That show is so good, and Lance Hendrickson just drives that bus straight into the sun. All right, this also stars Stephen Amell, who you may know from a show called Arrow that was on TV. He was also in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. He played Casey Jones. And he was in a movie called The Tracy Fragments, which I've heard of, but I've never seen. This also stars Tim Rosen, who, this is the person that I said I was going to tell you later who it was because you didn't recognize him in the show. But imagine him having a beard, and you might recognize him as Mutt from Schitt's Creek.
Oh.
Yep. He was also in the remakes of Terror Train and its sequel, which are Tubi originals. We haven't watched them yet. Don't know if we will. And he was in Lake Placid Legacy, which was one of the franchise movies. Lake Placid became a franchise, as did Anaconda, and eventually they crossed over. I don't know. Weird timelines. And finally, Gina Holden, who was in the 2005 Fantastic Four film, which my kid loved. Both of them are on the shelf. Final Destination 3 and Saw 3D, also a 3. And I'm going to mention this, but it is the worst movie in the franchise, which is Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, which we've never seen it. Just don't, because you'll have to Clorox your brain. It's so bad. But Gina was in it, so good job, Gina. You got to work, right? So at this point, my wife turns to me and says,
What'd you
"How are we
think?
going to do it?" All right, that was a lot of names there. I didn't realize that. So, because I'm a fan of the first one, and she said, should we see the first one to understand the second? I said, why not? So we watched the first one, and then this is strictly about the second one.
It was smart to do that because they reference the first one a lot.
They do. They even have clips from the first one in the second one. Not quite a Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 situation, but they do have some scenes that they directly rip off from the first one. So it starts out with better special effects than the 1995 shocker, which was funny because when we watched the 95 one, it felt like a sci-fi original movie almost, and it was in the theaters, but it felt like it. It was weird. And so then we know what happens because they start off the film kind of talking about what happened to Peter Weller's character after the end of the first one, because the first one is a little ambiguous for a reason. I think they were intending on maybe having sequels, or I don't know how the book or the short story went, but they left it with an open-ended sort of thing. So these, as she said, this group hears a distress signal on this planet. They go to the planet to try and get there to help them out because they realize that the planet is going to blow up because there's an asteroid or something coming. It's going to have an extinction level event that's going to just take out the whole thing, which is fine, as far as the Screamers are concerned, because they don't want to have to deal with them. And apparently they've gone dormant once all the humans were gone. What they didn't realize when they got the distress signal is that there were still some humans there. Quite a few, actually. So what did I mean here? I said they visited the factory. I said it looks like the real world. I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
I put real world in parentheses, like in quotes almost.
Yeah, I don't know.
What if I meant like Real World the show? I don't think so. It doesn't look like the real world. Interesting. This time the Screamers were different, which I thought was interesting because in the first one they had like stage 1, stage 2, 3, and 4. This one they jumped the shark somewhere because they had stage 1, at least in the throwback videos. They had like the later stages, but there was a round one that was somewhere in the middle that we never saw in the first one. That was way more high tech than most of them in the original. So I don't know where that came from. And then the Screamers themselves, at the end of the first one, you kind of realize that they've advanced farther than even anybody knows. And in this one, same thing. They went even farther than that still. So it kind of turns into like the Thing sort of a situation where you don't know who to trust. And they kind of leaned into the trope of someone's got to steal something to take it back, which is they ripped that off directly from Aliens. I'm looking at you, Paul Reiser. And then I asked, where's Lance? I said, is he a Screamer? In bed. I even wrote that on there, in bed. But you don't see Lance Henriksen, who's listed as kind of the star of the show until the third act. And he's only around for a short period of time. I'm not saying what happens to him, but
Yeah, maybe he was higher budget.
I'm sure. I mean, he still, draws a decent salary, I'm sure. I felt like it was a little slower, but it was interesting. They didn't talk about the radiation at all. 'Cause in the first one, the radiation being a big thing where they smoke a lot of cigarettes, but if the radiation gets bad, they smoke red cigarettes, which is what filters the radiation and keeps them from getting sick.
Like medicine or something.
Yeah, but it's like a cigarette. So it tells you what year it was and how things were at the time. That they're like, hey, let's smoke this medicinal cigarette. And they did.
I mean, it was the 90s, so it wasn't like it was like the 1950s.
Right. It's not like they were standing in the bank line with Lucille Ball smoking a cigarette and then heading to the doctors and getting offered to smoke as soon as they get into the room to talk to the doctor,
Mhm.
which was a thing. Yeah, for any of you who are not born in the 30s, who might have been aware of things in the 40s and 50s, or you watch a lot of old TV and stuff. Anyway, they threw a lot of nice nods to the original, like the "Can I come with you" line was thrown in a couple times. I don't know why they changed the design of the screamers or why they suddenly were a lot more high tech. I'm assuming because of the advancement of special effects, but it felt like they almost were like a soft reboot in a way, but they were definitely in the same timeline. So I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here before I felt like they were kind of copying the first one in a lot of ways. Just the outcome of it was a little different. And then the whole thing with Lance Henriksen's characters, the big reveal with one of the other characters that they're connected. I won't get into how in case you want to watch the movie, but they're connected. I don't know. It just felt like there was some like, oh, this will make it, a little bit more interesting. Let's add some of this spice. I don't know. Anyway, what do you got?
I said, so I've got things I like and things I don't like. Some of the things I don't like, some acting was not so great, like the captain guy or whatever. I really despised him. Is he the guy that's Mutt
He was
in Schitt's Creek?
trying to remember how to describe him in the movie.
Is he
was
Mutt?
like the pretty guy. I don't remember who the captain was, to be honest.
Oh, he was that really annoying dude that like he was just a jerk.
He's kind of a dude, bro. Yeah, it might have been him. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So I thought it was a dumb idea to go there, but that's the movie. Not great effects. I really thought that they needed more like screamer mouth.
Yeah, they only did that. Well, I mean, I'm sure that was like the big budget.
Yeah. He turned into a screamer mouth at the end. That guy.
Was it him? Oh.
I thought the
no, the guy that was still in the ship, or was he the doctor?
No, that was
the guy was on the ship, but kind of a receding hairline.
No, the other guy.
No, then I think it was him. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So I thought the cinematography was not bad.
Okay, fair enough.
I liked the creepy humanoid screamers. I like that they've got like these huge black eyes, like, like that's super creepy when it's like all pupil and it's like ginormous. Like, because there was these people who were like tied up and they're like, help us. They've like tied us up and they're gonna like whatever, blah, blah, blah. And like they end up untying them. And then all of a sudden their eyes turn into like these big giant, like black voided. Yeah. And then they're like little saw parts coming out of them. And like, yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of neat.
I am saw parts.
I thought it was much gorier than the first one.
I mean, it was definitely
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Yeah, but the thing I did the most that I didn't like was it was a little bit predictable and the ending was kind of lame.
That's kind of how we ended up with it overall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of retreading of the original film, which
it
it
would have been nice if it was a different take, like they didn't have to go back to Sirius 6B. Like they went, oh my gosh, we found out that the screamer escaped and got, on whatever. And,
so they went to less serious 4F.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So do you want me to say my review or
yes,
like,
please.
Like how many out of how many?
Oh.
Or do you want me to say my little review? So my review is
save off your
I will.
points.
I will.
Yeah.
So Screamers the Hunting is a decent creepier sequel to the original. Still seems like a made-for-TV movie, but still not bad, even if a bit predictable.
I mean, that's fair.
That's my synopsis.
That's fair.
Yep.
So is it that time to rate it already?
I think it is. So
What's
out
my
of out of 5 foragers,
Realize I don't have my rating on here.
No. out of 5 foragers,
Foragers.
yeah, because I remember they kept saying like, we need to forage.
Oh, we got a forage. So I'm looking it up because I don't remember what I had. And this is bad.
I'm a
'cause I usually
forager.
Stay off my phone, but
I need to go forage.
Oh yeah, that's what I did. Okay. So I'm a fan of the first one, even though it's not the best sci-fi movie, but I always found it entertaining. So this one, I felt like all the things that she said were true, and you kind of got my opinion here. So I ended up at a 2.
That's what I said. 2 out of 5.
So we're in sync.
Wasn't horrible. Wasn't the best movie.
No,
Um,
I don't know that I need to see it again, but it was, it was a
I
decent.
definitely like
installment
the
in
Frankenstein theory better.
franchise. And we got Diarrhea of the Duck out of it. So
Yeah. Forest Primeval's is on the same level as Screamers. So yeah.
shows you that you don't need a budget to make a decent film. Bonnier Brothers got it right.
Yes. So if you don't want to watch us, what do you recommend that they do watch, Joel?
Well, the entire time I kept getting one vibe out of this, and I ran with it, which I don't know if you've seen this, but I have all the films on the shelf, the whole franchise. I'm a fan. 2000's Pitch Black.
I have
Starring
seen Pitch Black.
Vin Diesel and Rhoda Mitchell
Oh,
and Cole Hauser,
yes, I could see that.
which then went to the Chronicles of Riddick, and then went to just Riddick. And in between there were some anime, like, joining stories. So there's like a whole, there's a lot of lore, and they're talking about another one.
I haven't seen all the sequels and stuff, but I think I've seen. I know I've seen Pitch Black. I saw that in the theater, I think. And then, I used to be a huge Vin Diesel fan back in the day. So yeah, I went and saw that with a friend. But I know I saw Pitch Black and maybe the Chronicles of Riddick.
Well, Pitch Black was a kind of low level entry, kind of singular place kind of horror movie that didn't have a huge budget, but tried hard and succeeded. The second one was just this giant, huge budget, long, epic, overly done thing with Carl Urban. Then the third one went back to basics, but kind of fumbled it a little bit. But then the anime stuff was kind of cool. I don't know. It's an enjoyable franchise, and I was not a Vin Diesel fan. As a matter of fact, I'd seen a Project Greenlight thing about him or something, and I was like, "Boy, this guy's a pompous."
Really?
And then so I saw him in Saving Private Ryan, and I was like, he's still kind of a pompous butthole. And then
he was in
that's the movie that changed my mind.
what?
Pitch Black.
Oh,
After I saw Pitch Black, I'm like, okay, maybe. And then I watched Triple X, and I was like, eh. And then of course Fast and the Furious came along, and a bunch of other
Then
stuff
you
that he's
fell in
done
love.
since then. And then I don't love him, but he's all right.
why can't I think of the freaking movie that he was in? That was his first movie that he was in.
Not Saving Private Ryan.
No.
Well,
No, he was
you're talking about Boiler Room,
Boiler Room. That's where I know him from.
because he had his own movie that he made, which that's what made him sound like a pompous ass. His original not student film, but he made his own independent film. Anyway, look it up. We don't have time for all that. I'll
I
put it
like
up here.
Vin Diesel.
I mean, he's all right.
Yeah.
I don't hate him. I watch his movies now.
All right, what are we watching next week?
Oh yeah.
Bye Bye Screamers. The Hunting.
Did you blow it up?
Yep.
Oh, I'll have to remember that when I do my edit. So this one is from 2005. It's part of the Tartan Asian Extreme.
Yeah, Tartan Asia Extreme. The Booth.
The Booth.
When talk radio turns on, the booth turns deadly.
So yeah, it's not like a toll booth or some other kind of booth. It's a radio
It
booth.
says creepy beyond measure.
Oh.
Todd David Schwartz from CBS.
Oh, CBS. Okay, we know that. That's pretty big.
All right. I'm sorry if I butcher people's names and stuff. I apologize for that, but I'm going to say it's Shogo.
Okay.
Is an arrogant and condescending star of a popular call-in radio show. While his new studio is being remodeled, he must temporarily broadcast out of Studio 6. a creepy and dilapidated booth abandoned since its last DJ committed suicide.
Oh.
Suddenly, he begins receiving disturbing calls. The voices on the line whisper liar over and over. Has someone discovered the truth about his sinister past, or has the curse of Studio 6 been unleashed again?
I have a feeling that in the very beginning of the movie, the first scene before we get into the actual main character story is the suicide scene. I have a feeling. That's my prediction.
Yeah?
Yep. I already can see how this is going to go. I mean, they gave you the entire plot in the synopsis.
Yeah.
It's pretty laid out.
So you think that's what the first scene is, the
Yeah,
suicide thing?
and then I already know how it's going to end. So we'll see if I'm right. I'll talk to you off air, though.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not. Creepy
Surprise
beyond
us,
measure.
Spartan. I want to be
Says the
creeped
guy
out
from
beyond
CBS.
measure. Yeah, CBS.
All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. And as always,
Keep it cheap and creepy.
bye.
Go look after your mother and sister. Where are you going? We gotta finish this.
Goodbye, Tom.
Well, what kind of audience do we have here this evening? Anyone on a first date? Good! Any football supporters? Good! Anyone from out of town? Good!